Hi there, this is Self-Critical Automaton, and it's time for more Dark Souls. So I left off last time almost telling you an anecdote that I decided I would be better off telling this time. That is basically over here. You see the staircase? So this staircase is where the game expects you to go to start with. It's not exactly signposted, except that our crestfallen friend over here says one bell is up and one bell is down. The implication is that you should go to the bell that's up. That's a staircase that's fairly obvious from here, but where the crow first drops you off is about here, and it's a bit harder to notice. It just looks like a crack in the rock. It doesn't necessarily look like a staircase up the side of the mountain. So I wandered around Firelink for ages, got completely lost. Well, not lost, but confused. Went over to the graveyard over there, if you recall that, and I thought, there's enemies in the graveyard, and I've heard this game is super difficult, and these skeletons are really hard to kill. So I thought, this must be the way you go, because what happens in video games? What happens is that if you're fighting things, you're heading in the right direction. Not so with Dark Souls. You're supposed to head up here and fight these hollow dudes. Let's see if I can get him. So on that, hey? I'm actually not that fond of the Morningstar, but I might as well show off its moveset. It's mostly just heavy overhand smashes like this, and a light smash like that. I think every weapon has a light attack, a heavy attack, a sprinting attack, and a jumping attack, which is like that. Also, most weapons let you kick, but some weapons, instead of kicking, have something else. Now, that guy out there has spotted me, and he has an infinite supply of fire bombs to throw, so I'm just going to switch my weapons to... what else can I use? Insufficient stats. Yeah, that's right. Quite a lot of weapons have stat parameters. So you have to have, for example, 13 strength and 15 dexterity to wield the winged spear. 6 of each for the straight sword hilt, 24 strength and 10 dexterity for the Zweihander, and so on. With one more point of dexterity, we could use the S-Dock. At the moment, it looks like our only options are Morningstar, the club, or the broken hilt. So, I'm going to go to the club, because I personally prefer it over the Morningstar. Yeah. I'll show off the magic. The way magic works in this is that you have a certain number of attunement slots, and a certain number of spells, and you have to cast a spell with a certain implement. If it's a miracle, that's a talisman. If it's a spell, then it's a catalyst, a sorcery catalyst. This is the basic catalyst, and it will last you most of the game. It's not like most games where you change up your staff or wand or whatever every 5 minutes. Yeah, these guys aren't really much of a threat, frankly. I mean, they can and will kill you if you underestimate them. Oh, come on. For fuck's sake, Catherine, he's point blank range. How did you miss? So yeah, these are the weak, crappy, basic enemies. They're rubbish. Hey, let him spin. Now, I can get the drop on this guy. Papow! Now, if I was really lucky, he'd have dropped that shield he was holding, but he hasn't. So I'm just going to grab the Soul of Lost Undead. Oh, that's another interesting point I should talk about very briefly, which is that the items I'm picking off the sort of generic corpses in the game, those are fixed. There's always that particular item in that particular spot. For instance, over here, there is always a Ring of Sacrifice on this guy. Ring of Sacrifice is very useful when you're doing dangerous things, but it's the only ring in the game, apart from the rare Ring of Sacrifice, that is consumable. So, remember what I was saying about how this is a game... Oh, wow, that was close. I meant to jump, not roll. How, in pretty much every game, you know, first-person shooters, RPGs, whatever, there's always ways of getting into locations you're not supposed to get. This isn't the Caduceus shield. Oh my god, I've been lying. It says it's a Caduceus round shield, but that's not a Caduceus. A Caduceus is 2 snakes twined around a staff. That's an Omega. Huh. I've never noticed that before. I'm so disappointed. Anyway, yeah, so like you're running up here, it doesn't necessarily occur to you that you can go and stand on that. you know, it's, in half of games it wouldn't even be a piece of level geometry, it would just be an intangible thing that's there as background. But, in a lot of games you could also run on it, but, you know, you get stuck over there and you wouldn't be able to find your way back. You know, there's hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube of people glitching in Halo and getting onto galleries and ledges that you're not supposed to be able to get onto. It's also a common place for developers to hide Easter eggs, those kinds of places. But in Dark Souls, there's never Easter eggs in those places, there's just items that imply they were expecting you to try and get over here in the first place. It's sort of a nod and a wink from the developers. And there's usually a hint, so for instance this little overhang here that lets you roll down safely onto the aqueduct underpass thingy. You can't see it anymore, but you can just see the corpse over in the corner there, and the glowing light of the item on him would be a clue you can get over there. Now, this is clearly an undead rat, right? I mean, you know, it's rotting and it's got clouded eyes, it's all of the signs of being undead, right? But it's a rat, it's not a human. Is it a different kind of undead? Because undead just means a human who is cursed with the dark side, right? But there are also skeletons, which are clearly undead because they're up and walking around, but they're not undead, they're skeletons, you know? In the same way that a vampire is not a zombie. But, that said... Oh, that was close. Let's just, there we go. So, this giant wall here, we got through it by walking up the inside of this aqueduct. And we're now on the inside of that giant wall. There's thousands of acres of building here, but we can only access a small bit of it. Let's see if we can lure that guy over. He normally throws fireballs, but he doesn't seem to be this time. Much to his detriment. Maybe if you'd thrown a fireball, I wouldn't have killed you. Re-killed you? Deaded you? Knocked you down? Ah, fantastic. If you're behind an opponent and you hit them with a light attack at the right angle, you get a backstab, which is what that was. I talked earlier about what the fog gates are. I'm going to show off the first half of the Undead Burg, which is this place. Burg just means... Burg sort of means castle or walled city, so there's lots of cities that have Burg in the title because they were once, you know, walled cities. Wow! That, my friends, is not a dragon. Can you believe this shit? Looks like a dragon to me, but apparently no, that's a drake. And, not the kind of drake who does pop music. Is Drake a pop music person? I don't know, I'm just displaying my ignorance for everyone. So, if we roll through these barrels, we can drop down and get another item here. This is... Again, what I'm talking about, there's hundreds of little secret nooks and crannies for you to find. Now, we drop down here, and here, these guys start climbing. They angle off the edges, and then they get you when you walk past them. Or when you least expect it. But when they... More than least? What's more than least? I suppose anything is more than least. Any number that's not zero. Any non-zero number is... more than least. My mathematically inclined viewers are probably cringing right now, but, you know, screw you guys. Dead end ahead, that's a lie, it's not. Now, if you look carefully, there's another stealth hollow Dangleparty going on over here. He thinks I can't see him, but, you know, his brain rotted 500 years ago, so, you know, gotta cut him a bit of slack. Now, if I get close enough, I can... Bosh! Down he goes. The other ones wake up when you hit one of them. But he's wrong. Right. Ha! Suck on that. 360 no scope. Man, this sick filth. That wasn't a 360 no scope, it was just 3 hits, 1 kill. Oh look, rubbish, what a useful item. Surprisingly, rubbish actually does have a use in the game, but we won't find out what it is for quite a long time. So I can run over here and get, I think this is just a soul. Oh, it's a humanity, excellent. I'm probably going to talk quite a lot later on about what the difference is between souls and humanity, and why you get souls from something and humanity from other things. And, Are you okay? No, I hit him so hard he fell through the earth. Okie dokie. So yeah, these little crappy hollows are the weakest guys in the game, but I mean, they can still kill you if you underestimate them. That's basically Dark Souls in a nutshell. Right, this up here is where we saw the dragon. I'm going to switch back to my magic for a little bit, just because, you know, I might as well. Pow! Ow, shit. There's a sniper shooting at me. That's not good. Christ, Catherine, you're a terrible shot. There's no way to manually aim spells. If you lock on, they'll automatically home in towards your target. But, yeah. Can I hit him with a spell from here? I always say him. It's kind of impossible to tell the gender of, Oh, he's drinking potion! That's not okay, that's against the rules. Potions are for player characters, not crappy little hollows with fucking crossbows and stuff. Ha! Dodged. Amazing. Right. Now that we've taught him the error of his ways, I can go back to what I was saying, which was that, need humanity, fair enough, I'm already human. You might have noticed there was a shimmery word on the ground. Ah, there's another one. What these are summon signs. If you activate a summon sign, you can bring another player into your game for them to help you. And, yeah, the covenants I mentioned earlier basically tend to mostly affect how summon signs work for you. So I joined the Way of White, which means I'm more likely to see friendly summon signs and less likely to see... less likely to be directly invaded by people, which is when people attack you even though you haven't touched their summon. So these guys have shields, so I should probably try and parry them. But I'm terrible at parrying and I don't want to die, so... Come on. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Drink some Estus. Come at me. Okay. That's no good. Come on. Don't want to die, though. I've basically cleared out the lower chunk of this zone, so I've just got to wait for this guy to die, so I can take my time. Ah! Got him! Aha! If you flap your shield like this, just the right time, you smack their weapon away, and if you tap attack at the right moment, you can... look, that guy thinks I haven't seen him. He's clearly less of a hollow than half of the hollows, because some of the hollows have armour and stuff still on, and some of them are in loincloths and rags, which I presume means that some of them might be soldiers and some of them might be civilians, or some of them might be much older than the others. This guy just hasn't had time for his leather to rot away yet, you know? Also, he's got a battle axe, which he sometimes drops, but, you know, can't rely on drops in this game. Now, is this one way or is this two way? I can't... Oh, actually no, I'll go that way in a minute, because that'll loop around and get us some items, and rejoins the main path anyway. What does this say? Merchant ahead. Oh, look at that! They were right.
Well now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm? Then you are a
Such
welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
Is that true? I want to buy that bathtub. I don't see a bathtub here. Key? No, no bathtub here either. I'll buy the key though. What about here? Bathtub? Bathtub? There's no bathtub here either! I call bullshit. So yeah, this guy sells some armour, basic weapons and armour and stuff. I want to get the heater shield because it's the first shield available in the game that has 100% damage block. But, I can't because I don't have enough souls. I could probably pop some more souls, but I don't really think
Things are getting treacherous in these parts. A horrible goat demon has moved in below. And up above, there's that humongous drake and a bull demon too. If you stick around this place, it might end up being your grave.
So, horrible nasal voice aside, this guy is apparently not a hollow, even though he looks even hollower than I did earlier. Poor bastard doesn't even have a nose left. Nobody knows the troubles he's seen. I'm not going to buy any... Actually, the Orange Guidance Soapstone, it says write view and rate messages. You actually don't need it if you just want to rate messages. You only need it to write messages. I mean, I'm sure you already noticed that I can view messages people have left, so... Tempted to buy a weapon. I might get the hand axe. That's a personal favourite of mine. That's very effective. Maybe the reinforced club? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'll take the hand axe.
Thank you
Right.
kindly.
Oh, shut up. Let's we get to equip it. There we go. Cower before my crappy axe and tiny shield. Quiver before my loinclothed butt, which is a very shapely butt. Oh look, a bunch more crap hollows. Yeah, it does less damage than the club, but... Ah! Now, what happened there was that he, blocking with a shield takes up your endurance. So, when I blocked his final attack, he knocked away the last of my endurance, and that's why I staggered backwards. So yeah, these attacks do less damage, but they're much faster than the club. Yep, little crap rubbish hollows. What does this say? Imminent rolling. Ha! That's because if you roll into a barrel, it breaks, and sometimes there's items and stuff. Well, I mean, I say sometimes. What I mean is that there are certain places in the game where there are corpses with items in them hidden in or under barrels. But those never change, just like I talked about the other thing. So, as you can see, we're on a rooftop. This is where the the drake, dropped down in front of us. And there's an open window. Let's see if we can... Fantastic. Now, on my first time through the game, I assumed it was impossible to get in here, because it looks like you're supposed to jump from the second story of this house, not from the roof, because there's an open hole there. But the reason there's an open hole there is because of the environmental storytelling, frankly. If there was just an open door, opening onto nothingness, you'd be like, well, why is that there? That doesn't make any sense, but it's clear that there used to be a walkway between these two houses, which is a fairly reasonable thing to exist. So yeah, it took me quite a while to figure out I was supposed to take a long route round and then jump off the roof. Here we have a light crossbow and standard bolts. You can use a crossbow one-handed, so I could switch that for my magic, but I'm not going to, because magic is cooler than crossbows. Crossbows are for losers. Losers in the city watch. Not allowed to take a chug. I didn't actually need to. I don't think there's any more enemies between me and the next bonfire. Or at least I've killed them all. And they don't... Oh, okay. Are you quite dead? Mr. Wrigley Corpse? On you go. Yeah, so... Oh, that's right. There's one last thing. I nearly forgot. So, I'm not sure if this is any better than the Caduceus shield. I think this shield has like 96 damage resistance. Wooden shield. Oopsie daisy. 93. Still better than the Caduceus shield. Yeah. In fact, 93 is probably enough to get me through to the next shield that I can find in the game, which is a fair bit further on, but not so far as to cause issues. Also, the wooden shield is much cooler. Look at it. It's like, you know... Probably 90. So yeah, and oh, hello, summon sign. It's someone with a big old sword and a shield. Cool for them. And here we have the old bonfire. You might notice, looking closely, that bonfire is in fact a bone fire. I'll have a lot to say about that much later on. I'm just going to rest. Oh, that's right, I was explaining the magic system. The way the magic system works is that you have a certain number of attunement slots. You can put one spell into each slot. Each spell has a specific number of uses that refresh every time you visit a bonfire. So you can slot the same spell multiple times to get extra casts. If you slot Soul Arrow twice, you get 60 uses instead of 30. But you can't use the spells unless you have your Catalyst equipped. Once you have it equipped, the heavy attack button just whacks with it. It does a tiny amount of damage, probably less than an armed attack actually, and the other one casts the spell. You can cast it freely if you want, or you can lock on and have the spell actually shoot at your target. But yeah, this is a slightly shorter episode, but you see, they've respawned. Those guys are all back now. The undead always come back at bonfires, and this isn't just, like, the fact that you respawn at bonfires is not just you. It's like, that's a thing undead do. That's why the fires are here, sort of, in complicated mythic sense. But, I do have a lovely back, wow. Wish my back was that nice in real life. Yeah, so that's about it for today. I'll, catch you next time, self-critical Automa fans. That's terrible, I should come up with something better. Or maybe I should get some fans first. Oh well. Bye!